Hey, how you doing? Hans Schaff here, The Real Hans, and I got a quick video here I want to share with you today. The topic today has to do with challenges and obstacles. A lot of people, I feel today, are looking for an easy way out. They're looking for a simple shortcut. They're looking for the easy route, and then they get disappointed when a little bit of work is required. They get disappointed when they run into a little bit of an obstacle. And for the last 13 years of my life, I've chosen the more difficult path. Not necessarily because I wanted to, but it just ended up kind of being that way. I'm always doing things differently. So for me, this is normal. I'm used to problems. As much as you don't want to focus on problems, as much as you don't want to, have your life revolve around problems, I've always gone a different path. When I first of all actually started in high school. When I was a senior in high school, 18 years old, I was actually going to college taking a German course because they didn't offer German at my high school, and I wanted to take German. They offered at the local college, Sac State, basically, CSUS, California State University, Sacramento, and they had German there. So I was taking German level, German, sorry, I was taking college level German courses as a high school student because my school didn't offer it. That was very unique. I'd have to leave in the middle of one class while I was in high school, and in order to go across town to go to the campus and go to my college class, I'd go there for 50 minutes, then drive back and interrupt another class in order to get back. But I was a good student. I got good grades, so it didn't really matter. It's my senior year. They didn't really care. But it was cool for me. I got to experience college a little bit early. And in fact, that's where my entrepreneurial business began, was actually on one of those trips to college. That's a message for, or a story for another time, but essentially that's how I began my process of kind of doing different things differently. So, then in college, I dropped out of college, and which is not, of course, the norm, right? Everyone says you got to go to school, you got to get good grades, you got to graduate and get the good job. Well, I didn't want a good job. I saw how other people, had to work 40 years and they never looked happy. They'd struggle working 5 days a week and all this kind of thing, and stuck in one spot, never get to see the world, never get to experience life or really live life, always trapped, trying to pay the bills and just chasing their tails, what it always seemed like. So for me, I always have chosen a different path, and it's been a little bit more difficult because of that. It was very difficult for my parents to always accept that. Why don't you go get a job? They didn't understand the struggles I was going through, and they couldn't relate, and they just thought it was a mistake what I was doing. They didn't understand that it's just part of the process. There's a learning curve. I wanted to create something. I wanted to be in control of something. I wanted to design my life. And, from 18 years old, I went down that path. I traveled internationally. I actually went from starting my learning German properly in high school while I was going to Sac State. Then in San Diego State, I actually took a couple more German classes. I still wasn't getting the hang of it. I'm German, so I figured I should be picking this up a whole lot easier. Well, hell, I'm just going to move to Germany. So I did that. I went to Germany for a year and started studying out there while building my business in the early days of the internet, and doing my home business out there back 13 years ago. So it was always something different. I was never taking the normal path. And I got into real estate kind of the same way as well. I didn't go the normal route. Instead of starting with the one family home, we went and started with an apartment complex. And not only did we do that, I actually became a loan officer, did the loan for the property. I also became a realtor, and I also became a property manager, handyman. I mean, the whole 9 yards. We jumped in with both feet because we were committed. We made a decision. We're going to make this thing work. We're going to figure it out. We're going to learn it. Of course, we had read a lot of books. We'd gone to some seminars and stuff like that. Again, my parents thought I was crazy. They, what are you doing? You don't have a background in real estate. You didn't go to college to learn this. You don't know what you're doing. Well, we got involved, and we were able to do some pretty amazing things with our properties because of the application and just some of the things that I had learned in building my business. All those obstacles, all those struggles, all those trials, and it was turned into triumphs down the road because we didn't give up, because we kept moving forward, because we kept looking for ways to get around the obstacles. That's the way you have to approach life, because life is not easy. Life is not fair. For some people, they can seem to go to the top with hardly any effort at all. Other people, they seem to never be able to get to the top, and they give up. And they're constantly getting started, jumping around, always trying something new instead of finding something that works, sticking to it, and seeing it through until it's successful. And there's a big lesson in that. Let's talk about online marketing. If you're anybody like myself who does online marketing, there are challenges with online marketing. Facebook constantly changing their rules and regulations, their format, their layouts. They're always changing. You're always having to keep up with that. Does that mean you shouldn't do Facebook? No, you just got to figure out a way. Just keep on keeping on, right? Life is about growing. It's about changing. Let's talk about YouTube. YouTube's been slapping a lot of marketers online. A lot of my colleagues have had their channels slapped. I've had my channel slapped. First started with one video, then I lost 2 videos, then 3, then my whole channel went down. So what do? You just start another channel. Go to another service. You start using Vimeo or some other, start hosting your videos on Amazon. There's all sorts of different options out there. You don't just give up. That's not the solution. If you're committed to your success, if you have a vision for what it is that you want in life, if you know where you're headed, if you can see the future, well, you obviously know that to get from point A to point B, from here to there, you have to continue to move forward. It's not just going to be handed to you. It's like this lottery mentality. I wrote a blog post about this the other day as well. That just because people would rather spend $5 every single day and hope that they'll get the one lucky ticket, against the odds are so against you to win $338 million that was just paid out in the Powerball, right? And I just think it's funny. I won't even play lottery. Like, what is the point? Why spend that $5 there? I'd rather spend $5 in marketing towards my business. I've got much better odds of making a sale and turning that $5 into something else, doing something like that, as opposed to just taking $5, putting it into buying a lottery ticket or something. I mean, what's the point, right? Just to hope and dream. Well, I can hope and dream and actually make something happen by actually taking action towards my goals and dreams, and use that $5 towards something more useful. Put it towards education. Put it towards advertising. Put it towards tools or marketing. Do something with it besides just throw it away into the lottery, hoping, wishing that you're going to get rich. Because I'll tell you what, even if you were to win the lottery, chances are you're not going to be happy. There's a study that I saw in doing research for that article that people who win the lottery are actually less happy, even though they have all this money, than people who don't win the lottery. Because, first of all, it's not their money. They didn't earn it, so they feel a little guilty about it. Secondly, it goes through it so fast, and all their friends and family think that they're now entitled to have some of that money themselves as well. So winning the lottery is not the solution to any of your problems. It really is not. It's just going to amplify and multiply whatever problems you have in your life, good or bad. So, obstacles. There really is something to it. You've got to persevere. Look at challenges and obstacles as a way to grow. Appreciate the obstacles. Appreciate the struggles you have to go through, because it's that which builds character. That is what's going to help you become a better person. It's going to help you grow. It's going to help you get more out of life and allow you to become more successful. So further down the road, as you're being challenged and you're going through these more difficult struggles, you'll have learned from your previous mistakes, be able to help other people with the same mistakes so that they don't have to go through the same struggles that you've gone through, and you'll be able to handle bigger and bigger challenges. And you just start developing this mindset where you just start getting used to the problems. You don't focus on them. You let them overwhelm you. You just expect them and say, okay, if you're not getting struggles, okay, I must not be doing enough. If you're not making people upset, if you're not, finding it difficult, if you're not getting shut down here or there, if you're not getting people to say bad things about you, if you're not moving forward, you're not going to face any adversity. If you're facing adversity, it means you're doing something right. So continue in that vein and look for struggles. I mean, I don't say look for problems or look for ways to be negative. I'm saying as you're moving forward, you should be encountering some adversity, some struggles, some challenges, and in so doing, that means you're moving the right direction. It means you're moving ahead, you're growing, and your income you'll only be able to make as much money. I can't get this phrase correct. I tried it in a couple different other videos before, but your income is limited basically to the amount of growth that you have. So if you stop growing, your income is also going to stop. But if you increase your capacity to learn, you also increase your capacity to earn. There's a good way of putting it. So, look for the challenges. If you see one ahead, smile and say thank you and go for it and go after it and figure out how to overcome it. Because as you're overcoming these challenges, that's what's going to separate you from those other people. Because I'll tell you, there is a ton of people out there who are just looking for get rich quick, how to fix their problem overnight, and it's not realistic and it's not long lasting. Someone who can solve challenges, who can think outside the box, who's a critical thinker, those are the people who are really going to lead the way. Those are the people that are going to achieve success. Not one time in their life and think, oh man, remember that one time I was successful. Remember that one time I caught that pass in the high school football game. That's not going to last. You're going to be able to continue to thrive, continue to move forward, because I'll tell you what, the world is changing and things are moving at a fast pace. And if you can't keep up, if you can't, train yourself to learn how to continue to grow, to continue to learn, to continue to put up with and figure out how to battle through these challenges and changing times, you're going to fall behind. That's the bottom line. So learn to expect challenges, learn to expect them, and learn to blast through them as well. Because tell you what, it's all up in your head. These challenges, life is a struggle. If you're not struggling, you're not growing. One last example I want to give you. Think about how difficult it is for a seed. Okay, if you've ever done any gardening, you know that a seed's got to struggle. Here, better example than a seed trying to sprout through the ground and all this is the cocoon, right? A caterpillar, right? A caterpillar, when it forms a cocoon, it goes through its process. It's whatever the process is called. And once, in order for the caterpillar to become a beautiful, successful, thriving butterfly, it has to go through the difficult challenge process. And this is a part of nature. You know, nature, success requires struggle. Success requires obstacles in order to grow. You've got to go through these challenges. And for the caterpillar, it has to break through the shell. It has to struggle and writher and move around and try and get itself, once it goes through its conversion process, it has to get out of that shell, out of that cocoon. And if it cannot struggle and get its way out of the cocoon, build its strength up, if it cannot get through that shell, it will have very little chance of surviving. If you were just to cut open that shell and let that caterpillar out, that butterfly, it won't be able to fly. It won't have developed the strength enough to be able to break out of its shell, literally, and be able to fly. So you don't shortcut yourself. Don't screw yourself over early. Don't try and look for a way to avoid the struggle. Go through it, full force. Just go straight at it. Take massive action. That's the key. Just take massive action. Don't worry about being perfect. Just move forward and just start breaking stuff. Because you know what? A good analogy is, you know, if you're shooting a gun, you know, instead of ready, aim, fire, ready, fire, and then aim. Ready, fire, and then aim. Because if you're sitting there trying to aim all day long, you're never going to get there. You've just got to take action, go for it, break things, break stuff, whatever. Just move forward. That's the key. Continue to move forward. You'll run into obstacles, but you will move forward in your life, and you will make progress, and you will feel great about it. So Hans Schaff here, just a short little video about obstacles, success. Don't avoid it. Head straight for it. It means you're growing. It means you're going in the right direction. Hope you appreciate this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.